People in China are now required to have their faces scanned when registering new mobile phone services, as the authorities seek to verify the identities of China's hundreds of millions of Internet users. People are being more and more strictly monitored. What are they, the government, afraid of?
Here's a summary of the article.
AFP people in China are now required to have their faces scanned when registering new mobile phone services, as the authorities seek to verify the identities of the country's hundreds of millions of Internet users. China already uses facial recognition technology to survey its population. China has for years been trying to enforce rules to ensure that everyone using the Internet does so under their real name identities. Many others complained that China had already seen too many data breaches. China is often described as a surveillance state. In 2017, it had 170 million CCTV cameras in place across the country, with the goal of installing an estimated 400 million new ones by 2020. The aim is that by 2020, everyone in China will be enrolled in a vast national database that compiles fiscal and government information to give a ranking for each citizen. Facial recognition is increasingly becoming a part of daily life and commercial transactions in China.
This post received a score of 14,038, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This is a preview of our own future, but here they'll sell it to consumers as a security feature before it becomes mandatory.
China is setting an example for the rest of the world every time they get away with something like this. This isn't just bad for the Chinese, this is bad for everyone. I've said it elsewhere and I'll say it again, China is now a very successful poster child of surveillance state totalitarianism. The real danger lies not only in her long arms, but in her exporting of this attractive model to her allies, or the willing adoption of it by regimes, even those outside of her bloc, because profit, control, whatever. Essentially, the better off CCP shows itself to be, the worse off humanity will be.
It isn't successful. Look how desperate it's acting to maintain control.
Greater than desperate. And #X200B. On one hand, I agree. On the other, is there any real risk of the CPC losing their grip on China? Is it even loosening? What are the signs? Their grip is so strong and precise that I fear that even if 50% of Chinese wanted reform, nobody would even know. And there's no indication that the number is that high. Strong agree. There is a quote I like: Cthulhu may swim slowly, but he always swims left, referring to the inevitable progression of liberal values. This is the first time I have felt like that has been legitimately threatened. A self-perpetuating, recursively renewing totalitarian state could legitimately be the end point of that progression, or maybe a temporary endpoint like in Asimov's Foundation.
With the amount of data being collected, and if machine learning keeps progressing, it can also be seen as closer to discovering, or forcibly creating, the formula algorithm that allowed the empire, don't remember its name in Foundation, to build itself in the first place. That being said, the between time is gonna be Ralph.
Greater than what are they, the government, afraid of? Revolution.
Except the more the government suppresses people, the more necessary it is becoming to revolt.
It's like classic bad parenting.
Or an abusive relationship.
Abusive relationships often lead to Stockholm Syndrome, where the victim is unable to rebel or escape, probably more equivalent to capitalism. Bad parenting leads directly to rebellion.
Or maybe Chinese mainlanders have something like Stockholm Syndrome for their government?
I'd say that's highly possible and accurate given their situation.
Well shit, guess it's time to break out the Juggalo makeup. Seeing as it totally redefines the jawline and adds or replaces the location of eyes, to facial recognition software. Who knew I'd live to see the day when Jugglos were one of the last bastions of freedom? Edit, see for yourself how well it works. Another example.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.